Hey there, high level listeners. We're here with a brand new English vocabulary podcast episode talking about your favorite music in high level English. If you want to learn more naturally spoken English phrases, vocabulary, and pronunciation for both American and British English, you've come to the right place. Welcome to High Level Listening. This is our YouTube channel where we give you side by side American and British English to help take your English to the next level.
Yes, that's right. Hi, everyone. My name's Mark. I'm the British voice here on High Level Listening. And yes, as Kat mentioned, we're going to share our favorite music genres or types of music and share lots of useful vocabulary and expressions to help you explain why we love that music so much. We'll do this by reading a short script each. The first one's about Kat's favorite music and then mine. And then we'll go back up through the scripts once again to explain the most useful vocabulary to help you talk about your own favorite music better than ever before.
Absolutely. We will also point out any time that there are any differences specifically between American, which is my type of English, and British English, which is Mark's type of English.
Okay, so Kat will go first and read her script. I'll ask her the question today. Kat, what is your favorite kind of music?
Well, I would say my taste in music has definitely shifted a bit since I was younger. But if I had to choose, I'd say my go-to choices are kind of an upbeat pop and top hits, and then more calming classical instrumentals. Pop is perfect when I'm exercising. It's got those catchy beats, fun lyrics, and that feel-good energy that keeps me moving. But I used to listen to whatever was on the radio, but now I've made streaming playlists full of my favorite tracks and albums that always put me in a good mood when I need it. Classical music, though, is what I play when I need to relax. There's something about the gentle melodies, those smooth transitions and soft tones that's so calming. It's perfect for unwinding after a long day or staying focused while I'm reading or working. I used to think classical music was kind of boring, but now I really enjoy how soothing and timeless it feels. I think a mix of both is perfect depending on my mood. All right, so I shared that some of my favorite music is pop music, or kind of the top hits, and some classical music, more like the instrumentals. So, what about you, Mark? What's your favorite kind of music?
I've always been into lots of different music, but if I had to pick two favorites, I'd go for classic rock and ballads. Classic rock is probably my number one. It's got the big guitar solos, powerful vocals, and those tracks you can stick on and belt out. There are just so many bangers from that era. I'm not even fussed about the lyrics. I just love the riffs and the heavy rhythm that I can headbang along to in the car or at the gym. Weirdly, though, I also have a bit of a soft spot for good old ballads. Singers like Adele and Celine Dion, who have these big, beautiful, soulful voices. Their lyrics are always about heartbreak and love, and when they combine it with that sweeping orchestral music, you can really feel it through the speakers. They're really stirring and sometimes genuinely moving. They just hit the spot. And of course, they're brilliant to sing for karaoke as well, even though they're super sad songs. Okay, so those are both of our scripts. Don't worry if you didn't catch everything and every word. We're about to go back through them and go through them once more. Also, if you would like an offline version or a downloadable PDF of both of our scripts, you can get that too. If you click the link in the description below, you can join as a High Level Listening member, and then you can download it, read every sentence of this episode and all of our other episodes, and study in your own way. Anyway, let's go back to the start of the scripts and break down the vocabulary. Back to the beginning of yours, Kat. What are your favorite kinds of music?
The way you were talking about ballads and love ballads just like really pulled my heartstrings, I swear. So even though that's
Right.
not my favorite kind of music, I just always love it. I always love it, especially the karaoke part for sure.
Yeah, everyone loves a good old ballad. Anyway, what
I
were your
know,
favorite
right?
kinds? What were your favorite genres?
So, for sure, my taste in music has definitely shifted a bit since I was younger. But if I had to choose, I'd say my go to choices are kind of an upbeat pop and top hits, and then more calming classical instrumentals. So, basically, the answer to my question, Mark asked me, what's your favorite kind of music? What's your favorite kind of genre? It would be pop and classical music. So usually pop, I hear that word kind of used a lot. Like, what kind of music do you like? Yeah, pop. But if someone said classical, I usually kind of put that together with classical music. Classical music. So my taste in music has definitely shifted a bit since I was younger. Okay, so if you have taste, okay, now we use this word, of course, for eating, but we have taste in things. That means these are the things that we like. So my taste in music has changed. All right. What I like in music and what I don't like in music has changed. It has shifted, shifted. So that's another word that we use. So when I was younger, maybe I was listening to lots of really upbeat music, and I still like it a little bit today. I think that's why I hold on to it, but it's definitely shifted, maybe changed a little, changed in a good way, even. So my taste in music, my taste in movies, my taste in art, my taste in fashion has definitely shifted a bit since I was younger. But if I had to choose, okay, I think most of the time if people ask me what's your favorite music, I say a little bit of everything, a little bit of everything. But if I had to choose, if you really want me to choose, if I had to choose, I would say, I'd say, because if I had to choose, because I like everything, right? If I had to choose, I'd say my go-to choices. I like this phrase a lot because my go-to food, my go-to restaurant, my go-to cafe. This is my favorite one. These are some of my top favorite ones. Or if I don't want to think about anything, if I don't want to make a choice about something, this is what I do. This is my go-to. All right. So my go-to choices are kind of an upbeat pop, upbeat, upbeat. Upbeat can mean positive, energizing, friendly, and just kind of upbeat, upbeat, right? Kind of an upbeat pop and top hits. Top hits, basically, if you turn on the radio, it's the 20 to 30 songs that just keep playing on most radio stations, those top hits. What's the most popular music right now? These are the top hits. And then more calming classical instrumentals. More calming classical instrumentals. I know when I was a kid, they used to put me to sleep, right? But now I find them really calming and I quite like them a lot. So, classical music, I would think of, like Bach, Beethoven, some of the really, really old ones, sometimes elevator music. And then we can use this word instrumentals, instrumentals like the orchestra or the violins or the strings or the different instruments that you would hear, like the piano as well. These are the instrumentals. Usually that just means that there's no singer. All right. That usually just means that it's 100% instruments. All right. So that was quite a long one. So I'm just going to quickly recap. My taste in music has shifted. If I had to choose, I'd say my go-to choices are upbeat pop, top hits, and classical music. All right, Mark, what about you? It's your turn to let us know. What are your favorite kinds of music?
So I've always been into lots of different music, but if I had to pick two favorites, I'd go for classic rock and ballads. So yeah, I think both of our choices are quite contrasting. You've got pop and classical. I've got classic rock and
Yeah.
ballads. So probably an important point. Kat said classical music. That's with violins and pianos and orchestras. I've said classic rock. So if it's classic, then it's an old song, but it's still famous and it's still popular. If something is 20, 30, 40 years old, but it's still popular and it's well known and people enjoy it, that's a classic. If it's one of the best songs, then it is a classic from the past. So it's kind of timeless. It never gets old. It's classic. So the rock that I like is a little bit older, 30, 40 years ago, from the 1970s or 60s.
Well, be
Anyway,
careful now because 1970s, that's like 50 years ago now. That's
oh
almost
yeah, that's
60
true.
years ago now. I
Oh
know.
God,
Sometimes I don't
I
think
know.
about time like that, But I mean, for me, I think classic rock is what, like the 50s, 60s, and 70s in a way, mostly.
Right? I was thinking 60s and 70s. Yeah, so man, that's 50 years ago
That's a
already.
long time ago. That was
Time
a long time
flies.
ago.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Well, anyway, but the first sentence was I've always been into lots of different music. So I'm using that present perfect because this is a long period of time. 34 years I have been into. This is the same phrase as I am into different music. I like lots of different music, but over years and years, over my whole life, I have always been into lots of different music: rap, hip hop, pop, rock, everything. But this is a difficult question. What's your favorite kind of music? Ooh, if I had to pick two favorites, if somebody asks you a difficult question and you need time to think, we use the second conditional. Oh, if I had to pick, if I had to choose my favorite food, if I had to pick my favorite movie, we always use that tense. You're thinking, you're using your imagination. So if I had to, then I would go for classic rock and ballads. So if I had to, I would. Keep those 2 grammar points the same. All right, so you mentioned pop music first as one of your favorites. What do you like about pop music?
Pop is perfect when I'm exercising. So, the times when I'm cleaning, when I'm exercising, when I need kind of an energy boost, right? So, pop is perfect when I'm exercising. It's got those catchy beats, fun lyrics, and that feel good energy. So, let's look at these three. We've got catchy beats. I say this all the time. I'll turn on the top hits playlist and it's a new song, and I'll just start to move a little bit listening to it. Oh yeah, da, 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 well, yeah, da, 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 da. And it's so catchy. It's so catchy. You can't stop yourself from kind of moving, kind of bouncing a little bit. And it's just so catchy. Yeah, exactly. You start snapping your
Hmm.
fingers.
Hmm.
The lyrics are really easy to remember. So we've got the catchy beats, and a beat, two, three, four. The beat is kind of the rhythm, the tempo, right? That's boom, 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 boom. That's the beat, right? Some beats are fast, boom, 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 and some beats are slow, boom, boom, boom. All right, so those catchy beats, right? Those catchy beats. Then we've got the fun lyrics. Lyrics are the basically the words of a song, right? So happy birthday to you. The lyrics are happy birthday to you, right? That's the those are the lyrics. Those are the words in the song. So we do have a special word just for those words. Lyrics. Lyrics. There is a kind of a famous movie called Song and Lyrics, Songs and Lyrics, right? So those are the songs that you sing and the lyrics that you say. So we've got catchy beats, fun lyrics, and that feel good energy. That feel good energy. Sometimes I just put on a song and I just, wow, I feel so much better once I put it on. I just feel good. Those catchy beats, the fun lyrics, and that feel good energy that keeps me moving. So that feel good energy, feel good feeling. You feel good.
Hmm. I feel that's most songs by like Dua Lipa, Sabrina Carpenter, like Espresso is so catchy.
So
The lyrics
catchy. It
are
gets
fun
stuck in
as
my
well.
head all the time.
Yeah, right. You hear it once and you can remember it. It's super catchy.
So what about you, Mark? Now this isn't personally my favorite genre, so why do you like classic rock so much?
Classic rock is probably my number one. It's got the big guitar solos, powerful vocals, and those tracks you can stick on and belt out. So, yeah, classic rock is probably my number one. You remember I had two choices, classic rock and ballads. If I had to pick one, classic rock is probably my number one, like my favorite. So, if you have lots of favorite bands, my number one, you could say he is my number one, or they are my number one. If it's a band, the Beatles are my number one. Led Zeppelin are, because that's a group. If it's a single person, you say Adele is my number one. Why do I like classic rock? It's got the big guitar solos. In every rock band, there is a guitar player. It's usually an electric guitar, and solo means one. So when only the guitarist is playing, and often they play very, very fast. I like that stuff. Those are guitar solos. Every rock song has a solo. Sometimes it's a very long solo, and they're playing for 30 seconds or even a minute. Big guitar solos. I'm saying big because they're very loud and exciting, and they're sometimes the best bit of the whole song, or they're the part that people remember. So big guitar solos, powerful vocals. Vocal is the singing voice of the singer. Every rock band usually has a singer with a very loud, powerful voice, a voice that you can hear from very far away, a voice that really blows up the speaker. Some rock bands have quite a deep voice, or some rock bands still have very talented singers, but they're powerful. They're always very loud, like it hits you in the chest when you start the song. So powerful vocals. You might say the vocals are amazing, or her vocals are incredible. Adele's vocals are incredible, for example. And Kat said a word earlier. You can put on some music and do exercise or clean the house. I said tracks you can stick on. So that's the same thing, though. If you choose a song, you put on the song, or stick the song on, or stick on the song. Stick it on and turn up the volume. I didn't know what to listen to, so I just stuck on my top playlist. So when you start music or play music, you stick it on. Stick on some rock, stick on some pop, stick on some music. And it's those tracks you can stick on or play and belt out. This is another phrasal verb when you want to sing very loudly. I want to sing along with the rock, and I want to sing loudly as well. Maybe I'm in the car, or maybe I'm in the shower. If I belt out a song, I sing it too, and I sing it really loudly. It's okay, the windows are up, or the shower door, the bathroom door is closed. No one can hear me. I'm going to belt it out. So you belt out your song, belt the song out. It's a phrasal verb, so you can separate it however you like.
So I think probably in this section for sure, stick it on. Although I do understand what you're saying there, I would probably say put it on in the United States. Like turn it on, put something on. And I think that sounds quite British. Stick it on.
Right, stick it on. Yeah, I should have mentioned you can also use that for like films or TV if you're in
Okay.
the living room. Oh, let's stick on a Christmas film. Or
Right.
yeah, oh, you want to watch that show? Yeah, stick it on. It just means turn it on or play it.
Mhm.
All right, so you've mentioned already a little bit, but when do you normally listen to pop music?
When I was younger and kind of commuting to work, I used to listen to whatever was on the radio. But now I've made streaming playlists full of my favorite tracks and albums that always put me in a good mood. So when I was younger, really the only option I had was to either buy a CD, quite expensive at the time, or just listen to whatever was on the radio. So I turn on the radio. I kind of have a couple of my favorite radio stations, right? And I used to listen to whatever was on the radio. So if it was on and I liked it, I left it on. Even if I didn't like the song, sometimes there would just be commercials on the other radio stations. So I just stuck to whichever it was. That's one of the ways that I would use stick to. I wouldn't stick anything on, but I would stick to something, meaning I would leave the radio station on. I wouldn't change it. So I was kind of stuck with it. If you were stuck in traffic, then I would be stuck with whatever was playing on the radio. Cars have changed, music has changed. So now I've made streaming playlists full of my favorite tracks and albums that always put me in a good mood. Now I've made streaming playlists. Now you've got Apple, iTunes, you've got Spotify. We've got lots of different companies that will stream music. That means you don't need a CD player. You don't even need the radio. You just need the internet. So I've made streaming playlists. A playlist is a list of songs you want to play. Okay, so a playlist. Maybe I'll put my favorite songs on there and I'll call it Drive to Work. So all of my favorite songs that I like to drive to work with, I've made into a playlist. So they're full of my favorite tracks and albums. When a singer or an artist or a group puts out an album, think of the CD you used to buy or the record you used to buy. An album is a group of songs that the singer or the artist has made for us, okay? It might have a name and you have a maybe 12 to 16 songs and that's your album. Each song in the album is called a track, a track. So we've got 12 tracks or 12 songs on an album. And they always put me in a good mood. A mood is your emotion or your feeling. So I'm in a good mood or I'm in a bad mood, but they always put me in a good mood. Now, what about you, Mark? I love, like you do, I like to belt out songs too. Do you enjoy the lyrics of classic rock? Sometimes they're hard to understand.
There are just so many bangers from that era. I'm not even fussed about the lyrics. I just love the riffs and the heavy rhythm that I can headbang to along in the car or at the gym. So I've got one of my favorite British slang phrases here. I was excited to use it. There are just so many bangers from that era. Bangers. I love using this word with my British friends. If you hear a really, really good song, a song that you love, say, this song is a banger. A banger is a great song. It's not a sausage like bangers and mash. A banger is a great song. This is an absolute banger. Oh, that's a banger. Yeah. And from the era of classic rock, so the 60s, 70s, maybe 80s, there are so many bangers. There are so many brilliant songs by different bands from different eras and different albums. There are just so many bangers. And you asked if I enjoy the lyrics of classic rock. I'm not even that fussed about the lyrics. This is my second kind of British phrase. If a British person says, I'm not that fussed, it means that they don't really care or it's not important to them. So, where do you want to go for dinner? I'm not fussed. Or what do you want to watch on TV? Whatever, I'm not fussed. So for me, I'm not that fussed about the lyrics. I don't really think about the lyrics. Sometimes, like Kat said, it's hard to hear the lyrics anyway. I've listened to some songs hundreds of times and I still don't quite know the lyrics. I just love the riffs and the heavy rhythm. So riffs, this is the kind of sounds that repeat in a song, especially in a rock song where they play the guitar, like dun 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 dun. That's a riff, and that goes again and again and again. Usually, if you're learning the guitar, you will learn a riff. It's like a short sequence of notes, or maybe you're listening to a song and you recognize the riff, and you're like, "Oh, this song, this is a banger." So riffs are an important part of rock music as well. And they have a heavy rhythm, doof, 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 that I can headbang to. I'm headbanging right now. When a rock song comes on, you move your head. Some people like to do it, like to headbang really strongly, but that kind of hurts my neck. I just headbang along too. Just like you would sing along to, you can dance along to a song and you can headbang along to a heavy song. Any rock music in any genre, you can headbang along to it in the car or at the gym. Rock music's a popular choice at the gym because it's kind of loud and heavy. People think that gives them some energy or strength. But yeah, that's why I like classic rock so much. So many bangers and the riffs, the rhythm, and I can headbang to it too. It's the easiest way of dancing, just doing this.
So a couple
Okay.
of the words that you used, bangers, right? Banger,
Mm,
bang. That sounds really weird for me to say.
bangers.
Um, you said basically like they're great songs. I would say probably, yeah, the same thing. I would probably say they were huge hits. They were huge.
Mm,
Sometimes we would say, oh yeah, that song was huge, Huge, or that song
mm.
is huge. Everybody loves it. I don't know if we have like a single word for like a banger
Would
would
say
probably
it's
be
a
like, oh,
bop. A bop. This is a
oh,
bop. Do people
that
say
sounds
that?
like something my grandparents would say, maybe. Yeah, oh, what a
What?
bop.
Oh, I thought that was
What a
cool
bop.
again. Okay.
Like from the 40s and the 50s. Little
All
bop.
right, they're like
Uh,
swinging their elbows.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, fair.
Maybe. But it's just kind of funny. I don't know that we have I'll think about it a little bit, but I would probably say, oh, that song
Mm,
is huge. Like that song was
mm.
huge. And then when you said I'm not fussed, I mean, I guess you could say I don't really care, but maybe that's kind of it, or I don't really mind. Which
Yeah, I
which one
don't
do you think
mind
is
is a
it more
good.
powerful? Okay.
I think I don't mind. Yeah,
Okay.
is probably a better translation.
You're right. It's like, yeah, I
Like
don't
it's
really
not going to
mind the
make
lyrics. I'm
me.
not sure. I don't even listen to them.
Yeah, not that fast. So we've gone through your first genre, that's pop. What other genres of music are you into?
So I am into pop music and kind of those upbeat top hits, but classical music, though, is what I play when I need to relax. So I've got kind of two ends of the spectrum here. I've got pop music, upbeat, top hits, should be anything that's popular right now. And then I've got classical music. So things that are popular right now and things that were popular hundreds of years ago. Okay. So classical music is what I play when I need to relax. And that makes sense. It's going to be much more calming, much quieter, less upbeat, crazy beats. So for sure, I would be playing that when I need to relax. Now, we do use this word genre, and it actually is kind of it's a French word originally. So it's Genre, and we say it genre. And what about you, Mark? How would you say you say it the same, right? Genre?
Genre.
Yeah,
Genre.
I know. Yeah, genre. So we
Yeah,
don't
it's a word we
quite say
stole
it with
from
the French
French.
accent, but it does come from French, and we've stolen the word and used it in English. So what about you, Mark? What other genres do you like?
Weirdly, though, I also have a bit of a soft spot for good old ballads. Singers like Adele and Celine Dion who have these big, beautiful, soulful voices. So yeah, my two genre choices are quite contrasting. So I said weirdly though, like this is an unusual combination of like heavy and sad. So strangely though, weirdly though would both be good here. Weirdly though, I also have a bit of a soft spot for good old ballads. And in keeping with the contrast of weirdly, though, but strangely, I also have a bit of a soft spot for good old ballads. Again, this I have a soft spot for means I care about it and I really, really like it. And we use this phrase again if you have a kind of contrast. Maybe like here, I like heavy, loud music, but strangely, at the same time, I also enjoy quite soft, romantic music. So if you have an opinion or a preference that's kind of different from most of your other ones, or maybe one that's quite surprising for other people, then you can say, I have a bit of a soft spot for this. Yeah, you might see someone with like lots of tattoos and long hair, and they might say, I actually have a bit of a soft spot for good old ballads. Like, oh, that might be a surprise or something different from what you were expecting. Ballads, I think this word translates into lots of languages, but these are like romance songs. It's usually one singer, it's often a solo performance. Some of the most famous ones at the moment are Adele, Celine Dion, super famous stars who have these big, beautiful, soulful voices. So I use the word big, and we've used the word big a lot. In music, big can mean famous, big can mean loud as well. In this case, I mean it as loud. These big voices. Sometimes they don't even need a microphone. When they do a concert, everyone in the stadium can hear them. Maybe they have special training from opera teachers, so they have these big sort of lungs and these big voices. Beautiful voices and soulful voices. They're singing from their heart. A soulful voice. Their lyrics and the love is coming from their soul. It makes me feel emotional too. A soulful voice. When I hear their emotional lyrics, it makes me emotional too. It's really soulful. You believe them when they sing about sad things. So anyway, that's the other genre I like, is ballads. You've mentioned classic instrumentals. Well, what do you like about those so much?
Something about the gentle melodies, kind of those smooth transitions and those soft tones that's so calming. Even my voice, when I said this sentence, I start to get kind of relaxed, calm,
Soothing,
right? We
smooth.
have those gentle melodies, those smooth
So
transitions,
welcome to
and those
Classic
soft
FM.
tones. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, usually when I have a long drive and the coffee hasn't hit yet, I'm probably not listening to classical music. It's going to be too tiring for me. So, tiring feels like it makes me sleepy, but in a bad way. Calming makes me feel calm and relaxed in a good way. So that's kind of an interesting contrast there. So there's something about it. This is a phrase that I don't know exactly why I like that. I'm not sure exactly what makes me like this so much, but there's just something about it, right? There's something about it. I just don't know. I just don't know. There's something about the gentle melodies. Now, I'll be honest, I don't even know because I've never really had a music class. I don't really know what a melody is. So I kind of had to start to think about it. But when I think of a melody, I think of the song, the kind of the rhythm of the song. So I talked about Happy Birthday before. It's like that's the melody. Okay. It's kind of so it can go faster and faster. It's a little upbeat. It's kind of sounds happy. So I think of kind of how the song makes you feel and how fast the song is going. Like do 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 do, right? And it's the part of the song that you remember, right? So catchy, right? So when we talk about gentle melodies, something a little bit slower, a little bit more relaxed, right? Not as upbeat as Happy Birthday, but a bit more gentle. Then we've got these smooth transitions. A transition is when we go from part one to part two. Okay, we're connecting two things, so we need to transition or move into another part. So it's nice and gentle. Some of my favorite pop songs, they have kind of a slow intro, then they go kind of crazy, then they go slow again, and then they go crazy. But there's big transitions, right? We're going fast and slow and fast and slow. But these ones are a bit more smooth, right? They're a bit more smooth. They're not as choppy. They're not as choppy. And then, of course, those soft tones, soft tones. We're not going to be big and loud like most Americans are. We're going to kind of relax and have a bit of a softer tone. And that soft tone is so calming. It's not tiring unless it's in the morning before I've had my coffee. It's calming. It's calming for sure.
Like when you listen to classical music on the radio, even the DJ voices are like, even their voices are calming too. It's like the next song is Beethoven's Symphony in C sharp minor, and yeah, everything about it is just a calming atmosphere. It's nice.
I think it's good. And again, it can be tiring if you don't have enough energy, but if you have too much energy and you need to calm down, it's very calming for sure. Okay, so Mark, please, the way you explained those ballads, it really feels good. And I have a soft spot for ballads. I think everybody has a soft spot for ballads.
Mhm.
You can't not have a soft spot for those ballads. So tell us, why do you like it in particular?
Their lyrics are always about heartbreak and love, and when they combine it with that sweeping orchestral music, you can really feel it through the speakers. They're really stirring and sometimes genuinely moving. They just hit the spot. So their lyrics are always about heartbreak and love. So yeah, the lyrics are the words they sing. Heartbreak. So breakups, losing love, you left me, I left you, you said no. It's always something very sad. Or it's about love in general, just the most powerful emotions. And ballads and classical music often share a lot of the same instruments. Classical music will have an orchestra, a group of musicians, and the adjective is orchestral. When they play music with those instruments, it's orchestral music, or orchestral music. And a word that you'll often hear to describe that kind of music is sweeping. Sweeping orchestral music. If it's sweeping, then you think quite romantic noises, often with strings or a harp going all the way from the bottom to the top. Sweeping, rising, getting louder and more powerful. These are sweeping orchestral scores or sweeping orchestral music. Movies, especially big movies, animations. James Bond has sweeping orchestral music in its intros famously. Adele did a James Bond song as well, so there you go. And how do you feel? You can feel it through the speakers. This is a phrase when someone sings very well, or even if an actor acts very well, if they do a fantastic job, you can feel their emotions through the speakers. Maybe I could feel their emotions through my headphones. It's coming from the speakers into me. If someone acts very well, you can feel it through the screen. If they're crying, I believe them. Like it's very pure or very raw and very believable. I believe that she is sad. Like maybe her lyrics are based on a true story. And so I'm like, wow, that's really sad. And those feelings you get can be stirring. Like when you stir, I don't know, you stir milk into your tea or stir something while you're cooking. Imagine that, but in your chest or in your heart. All these feelings are mixing up and you're feeling quite emotional. Can be happy, sad, bittersweet, just happy and sad at the same time. And sometimes genuinely moving. If something is moving, then you want to cry about it. It can be a happy thing, or it can be a sad thing. Either way, it makes you want to shed one tear in the car, dry your eyes, and then go out and go to work. These songs can be genuinely moving. They just hit the spot. I feel better after I listened to this song. It was what I needed. I think sometimes people like to feel a little bit emotional, or they like to be moved, and you kind of get it out of your system and it's a mental reset and you feel better afterwards. So some people use ballads because they want to cry, get it out, and then get on with their day. I think my mum does that. She needs a good cry, so she puts on some ballads. Anyway, is that how you feel when you listen to ballads as well? Does that
I mean, I can only
describe
listen
it?
to them every once in a while because they are so emotional. But especially the ones that I've known for decades, those are the most fun to sing, especially with friends. And then you can just
Yes.
yell at each other and belt it out together.
Belt it out, yes. Anyway, so back to classical music on your side. When do you generally listen to it?
I mean, it's perfect for unwinding after a long day or staying focused while I'm reading or working. I think that's why I like the instrumentals so much is I don't focus on the lyrics. That's kind of what happens to me when I'm listening to pop songs and upbeat. I want to sing and I want to dance and I want to kind of, sing all those lyrics with the singer. But if I just need to sit and relax and I don't have any more energy that I can use on something like that, it's perfect for unwinding after a long day. Now, usually we use a long day to talk about something that's tiring or stressful. So, unwinding, taking that deep breath, right? Just leaving work at work, coming home, putting on some instrumentals, putting on some classical music, putting on my favorite playlist, my favorite album. And this kind of helps me stay focused because, again, it's very smooth, it's very easygoing. Those soft tones, they really help me stay focused. And if I'm reading or working and I really can't be singing songs in the background, then I'll usually put those on instead. All right. So, Mark, now I am a little surprised that you like to listen to those ballads. So when do you listen to them? Just at
Of
home
course,
by yourself or
right? It could be by myself, but of course they are brilliant for karaoke as well, even though they are super sad songs. So, the English word that we've taken from Japanese, I think, is karaoke. When you sing along to one of your favorite songs, you'll have a TV screen with the lyrics. So if you don't know the lyrics, it's fine. You can read them and sing along. We have karaoke nights, karaoke bars, and yeah, it's brilliant for karaoke. Ballads are brilliant for karaoke. You might say, oh, I have my favorite karaoke song is this, or this is a great karaoke song. This is a banger. Ballads are great karaoke songs too. Everyone often knows the lyrics. Everyone likes to belt out these songs very loudly and emotionally. Everyone's usually closing their eyes when they sing the songs into the microphone. Yeah, it's a really fun kind of song to sing for karaoke. You can also use the preposition at. You can sing it at karaoke or for karaoke. But yes, even though they are super sad songs. Although they are super sad songs, they're brilliant for karaoke. So that's when I like to listen to it and sing it the most. It's great with a group of friends or, yeah, at karaoke. It's really fun to belt out. It is a release. Okay, so that's the end of my script, actually. You've got one little piece left. What are your final thoughts on classical music?
I mean, my taste in music has shifted a lot. I used to think classical music was kind of boring, but now I really enjoy how soothing and timeless it feels. If something is soothing, it relaxes you. If you have a baby that's crying, you want to soothe the baby. You want to help the baby feel quieter, calmer, more relaxed. So I really like how soothing and timeless it feels. Now, it is called classical music, which means that it's kind of very old music. But like Mark said, it is also a classic, which means that over the years, it is still popular. Over time, all these generations of people still like it. So it is classical music, but it's still classic. It's timeless, right? So even though as a kid, I didn't love it, my parents loved it. And then now that I'm older, I love it too. So it is timeless. And I think a mix of both is perfect depending on my mood. So I've got the upbeat pop for when I need energy, and for when I want to just relax, I've got my classical music. All right, so we've gone through tons of great vocabulary today. Let's just do a quick recap of the words that you learned from my script. My taste in music. Shifted. My go-to choice. Upbeat pop. Top hits. Calming classical. Instrumentals. Pop music. Catchy beats. Fun lyrics. Feel good energy. Whatever's on the radio. Streaming playlists. Favorite tracks. Albums. Puts me in a good mood. Classical music. Gentle melodies. Smooth transitions. Soft tones. Unwinding. Staying focused. Soothing. Timeless. A mix of both, depending on my mood.
Okay, and here's the key vocabulary from my script. I've always been into lots of different music, classic rock and ballads, guitar solos, powerful vocals, stick-on music, belt out a song, bangers, The lyrics, the riffs, the heavy rhythm, head bang. Weirdly, though, a soft spot for good old ballads, soulful voices, sweeping orchestral music. You feel it through the speakers, stirring, moving. They just hit the spots.
Right, there you have it. We've just gone through a wide range of vocabulary and expressions to help you talk about the music that you really like to listen to. So let us know in the comments. Do you like any of the same genres that we mentioned? What's your favorite kind of music? Were any phrases or expressions new for you? Which ones? We love hearing from you, and we do read and reply to every single comment. So please get in touch in the comments below.
Yes, please do. And as always, if you want to get a PDF transcript of this episode and all of our other episodes too, you can join us as a High Level Listening member by clicking on the link in the description below. They are super useful. You can download them, read the scripts offline and study in your own way. And if you like the video, you can click like and subscribe to our channel as well, so you never miss either of the 2 videos we put out every single week.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time for another episode here on High Level Listening very soon. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.